right there. The likes of Safaricom in being the biggest movers as well. I'm talking about KPLC. Look at that, 3.9 million shares in terms of volume traded yesterday. Safaricom came in with 4.6 as the top mover. But then they're not just topping there, because we go back to gainers now. That puny stock is again there. In fact, I'm saying that the top gainer, but you do know that you want to buy into that stock, then you're only going to use what? Less than 2 shillings. Now, KPLC is going to start today at 1 shilling and 93 cents as how they opened this morning. Wow. So the question is going to be, why do we have a lot of investors right now running to get this stock for KPLC? I mean, expectations. Didi Nyoro, we do know himself, tripled his shares at KPLC, and all of a sudden, people said, does he know something that we don't know? That's why we have this talk looking at this right now. I mean, I'm not saying that KPLC is quite positive in terms of where they've been trading. I mean, this is a particular stock that we're getting news again from this morning that EPRA is giving them their leeway. EPRA's coming with 15% increase in the power cost in the country. And we do expect that now investors are looking at that. All this put together has really made investors run to this particular stock. I mean, it's a puny stock. Let's just be very, very honest about it. But then all of them are putting money into it. Now, listen, in fact, this particular movement that we're talking about here today, as we open the market, it's been 2 hours and 4 minutes of trading. It would have been more had investors not bought a lot of shares Monday, there was 9 million worth of shares traded at KPLC. So yesterday, there weren't so much of those shares floating around. So that's what we're talking about, 3.9 million shares. So today the question is going to be, what is behind this rally that we're seeing at KPLC? It's another 10% rise. Is it going to be another 10% today? We wait to see. But this is how we start. 179, 165, 147. The current pump prices. Is it a U-turn for Ruto? My name is Simba Kiage. This is Look at Business. Let's first start then with what we have as the biggest headlines that are trending at this particular hour. Kenyans will have to pay more at the pump as the Energy Regulatory Authority reviewed the prices that will guide how much the product will cost for the next month, in what turned out to be a fulfillment of Ruto's promise to do away with expensive subsidies, which he said were causing immense pressure on the budget. Kenyans will have to pay to buy petrol at 179 shillings, diesel at 165 shillings, with kerosene going for 147 shillings in Nairobi. EPRA, that is normally quick to review the pump prices for the country, delayed to release the new pump prices as high-level negotiations took place on how to approach the issue in President Ruto's first week in office on the back of his promises to reduce the cost of living. In the end, the authority removed the subsidy on super petrol and cut down on taxes, with the diesel and kerosene retaining subsidies of 20 shillings and 26 shillings respectively. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, which is in a 38-month loan deal with Kenya, has given the country until next month to end the fuel subsidy to ease pressure on the exchequer. Now, this latest review, which is the price has touched historical highs, is expected to push upwards the cost of production and consequently affect the cost of living. Now, even before the dust on the new fuel prices in the country settles, Kenyans will have to pay more for power as the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority threw away immediate former President Uhuru Kenyatta's plan to cut the cost by 30%. In what is a huge U-turn from Uhuru Kenyatta's plan to have the cost come down by 30%, EPRA, in its latest review, has increased power costs by 15.7%, reversing the January cuts by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration in the wake of anxiety among consumers over fuel prices. Now, without an official communication from EPRA on the latest review, the authority also quietly hiked pass-through costs last week, including fuel forex and inflation adjustments, pushing the cost of a kilowatt-hour unit to 25.3 shillings for domestic consumers who use the more than 100 units a month. This latest review will translate to customers only getting 39.5 units of power for 1,000 shillings spent on the more than 100 kilowatts-hour power line, down from 45.7 before the review. With inflation on a level only witnessed in 2017, the new reviews by EPRA on electricity and energy will further push it to new levels and further accelerate the migration from the Kenya power grid, a threat that majority of companies in the country made before immediate former president moved in to cushion them. After President William Ruto ordered port activities to be reverted to Mombasa Port from Naivasha Dry Port during a swearing-in, the move has received a bittersweet reaction. Now, sectional Naivasha residents are crying foul over the move, saying the investments they had made hoping to reap big from them will go down the drain, while Mombasa residents have welcomed the move, saying it has returned job opportunities in the city. Edwin John Mukora with our report.
This afternoon, I will be issuing instructions for clearing of goods and other attendant operational issues to revert to the Port of Mombasa as I made a commitment.
The move by President William Ruto to revert the Port of Naivasha to Mombasa has been received with mixed feelings in Naivasha area, where the locals who invested in this area thinking they will harvest from the port activities now crying, saying if the port is returned to Mombasa, they will lose.
Sasa nilikuwa naonelea hii port kutolewa huku Maimaio tena irudishwe Mombasa, itakuwa tumewaste hii pesa imetumika kwa hii port. At least hata vijana huku ile kazi walikuwa nafanya tutakuwa jobless.
Hii port kutolewa huku irudishwe huko Mombasa sioni ifai, kulingana na wale watu walikuwa wamenunua mashamba na watu walikuwa wamejenga huko, na tukaona hii town ilikuwa imeanza kufunguka kama ingefunguka sana. Sasa sioni haja hiyo port kutoka hapa irudi huko Mombasa, na ilikuwa imetumia pesa mingi sana kukuja hadi hapa. So mimi naonelea hiyo port ikae tu hapa tu.
Although Maimaio area MCA Eliud Kamau is telling them that only port activities are being returned to Mombasa and not industries, the youths are having none of that.
Tarajia makubwa kwa sababu rais alikuwa ametangaza hata wakati tulikuwa tunafanya siasa, akasema kwamba ataleta leather industry, textile industry hapa kwetu Maimaio. Kwa hivyo tuna matarajio makubwa. Ningeomba watu wa Maimaio watulie, tugoje tuone serikali mpya itakuja na nini. Hizo industry ambao wamesema zitakuja hapa, tutazigoja. Najua zitakuwa kwa faida kwetu, kwa sababu kila serikali najua inakuja na mpango wake, na tunajua mpango wa rais ni mzuri kwetu. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wakaji wa Maimaio tunangojea tuone hizo industries zitakuja.
Vijana idadi mingi sana hatuna ajira. Si hata vijana, watu kwa ujumla wengi sana ni watu wenye ni biashara wadogo, wengine tunafanya kazi ya mjengo, wengine ni watu wenye tunafanya kazi kwa kwari, wengine ni wale watu tunatoa mchanga huku. Sasa ikiwa unaweza rudisha hii ni Mombasa, sasa sisi ujue kwamba kuna idadi ya watu wengi sana watakosa ajira. Na unajua vizuri sana, ikiwa vijana watakosa ajira, ile ambayo itatokea maybe ni wizi, tutakosa usalama, sababu ya nini ya ajira.
On their side, clearing and forwarding agents at the Mombasa port have embraced the action, saying the move has returned job opportunities in Mombasa. Since the provision of these services in Mombasa, they claim many young people have been unemployed. But so far, the activities at Mombasa Port have not yet started, and President Ruto is expected to arrive in Mombasa this week for the commissioning.
Mji wa Mombasa ulikuwa ni gofu sana kutokana na oda ambazo na kuhamishwa kwa makazi yetu sehemu nyingine. Manyumba yetu mengi yalikosa wapangaji, maofisi ya clearing agent tuliathirika, kina mama wale wa kuuza mabajia na viazi njiani waliathirika pakubwa sana. Lakini kutokana na hii oda iliyotolewa jana ya uwezo wa rais kwamba atarudisha kazi katika Mombasa, imewapa afueni kubwa wakazi wa Mombasa na pwani kwa jumla.
Ni jambo ambalo kwamba tunalikaribisha, ni kitu tumekuwa tukipigania kwa muda sana. Na tulieleza wazi ya kwa hata kama ni kulipa deni lile la